intending to heal the root causes of these symptoms of numbness in the arms and numbness in the feet and heart palpitations and whatever these symptoms represent, in such a way as to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. Well, game theory would say where there's one blockage, there's likely more.
Mm-hmm.
And the numbness in the feet, we saw that blockage below the feet. And I know that there's also numbness in the arms.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling for whatever it is that's causing the numbness in the arms.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can just feel for it structurally.
Mm-hmm.
Tangly feeling, there's a lot of tangly feelings between the heart chakra and the oneness chakra.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of interwoven tangles.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels similar to the blockage below the feet of good intentions that go so wrong until the actions are terrible actions that do great harm.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it started out wanting to help, whatever that action was.
Mm-hmm.
And this is true for all of us. Taking actions with good intentions at the start and then losing the way.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the error?
Lots and lots.
Yeah.
Maybe waiting for somebody else to solve the problem.
That could be.
Only willing to tackle little
Little things.
Leaving the big things for the mythical person that doesn't exist.
That's true. And right there I got a really strong pain in the head.
Mm-hmm.
So that would suggest that that's close to true.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling for all of us.
Well, they're saying the big person does exist. Yes, but the big helpful person is not present. There is nobody helping. If there was a big person who is helpful, then there would be upward flow, there would be vortices running, and the cables would continue to run.
That's true.
None of those things are happening. If there is a big, powerful person that's helpful, what are they doing?
What are they doing? Correcting the error of waiting for others to solve the big problems.
Mm-hmm. It's like what they were saying the other day, where Jim Carrey is sad because he knows that there is no God.
That's true. And right there I felt that feeling of karmic dumping from larger dimensions down the back of the energy body.
Let's burn it.
Let's burn it. And use the burn to power up these dead children in the race for heaven.
Mm-hmm. When we remember how much worse other people have it, in the smaller levels, how terrible it is.
That is true.
It helps us to stay focused on the important work.
That's true. I hear someone saying that there's a common mistake for presences who see that there are no large helpful presences, and they're showing Jim Carrey again.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying a common mistake is to wallow in self-pity.
Yeah, that does nothing.
Yes. Yeah.
To remember that there are presences smaller than we are, and to be the change, to be the big helpful presence for those smaller lives. That we can do.
That's true.
That's all we can do. Each of us, for the worlds within worlds inside of us. And the worlds that intersect, because electrons jump forms and photons and quarks jump forms easily at quite some distance.
That's true. Pan is crying. He says, how do I motivate myself to go on when I know that no big presence is coming down to help? And as far as the eye can see, nobody is coming to help me.
Look at the smaller ones. You are the big presence to them. You are coming down to help them. You are that big godly presence to them. That big divine presence. You're acting like a divine presence to them. You are that person by your actions. Our actions prove who and what we really are. When we stop, then what? Then what has become of us? And maybe this helps to remember that we are in fact inside a contaminated zone, but that zone does have a limit. There is an end to it. And outside the contamination, things are still working somehow. And we can be closer than we think to reaching the barrier. Don't stop right before a breakthrough, right? How many times have we turned around right before we got to the place we were supposed to get to?
So many times.
So many times. I don't want to do that. I'm tired of that mistake. I'd like to make new mistakes.
Me too.
I don't want to stop too soon. We aren't stopping, Pan. We aren't stopping. He says you stop all the time.
That's what he said. You stop all the time.
That's true.
That's true.
And we start again.
That's true. We just keep starting.
That's it. Keep starting. Maybe what we've been doing wrong is focusing too much on these big losers from above.
I think that's true.
Yes, and not enough focus on where the work is actually getting done in the deeper levels.
That's true.
That's probably the error.
Oh.
Maybe we can correct the error of focusing on the wrong things. I think this is a universal error in the largest sense of the word.
I also.
Something we all do.
Merging in.
Correcting the
error of focusing on the wrong things. And how to keep this focus while also focusing on our ground zero assignments, which are also important.
And which nobody else is doing.
That's true.
Nor should they.
That's true.
This is our work to do. It's a challenge.
That is true.
Challenge worthy of our abilities.
Intending to go through whatever the highest blockage is that the children are getting stuck on now.
Yes.
So as to make a path for them to go higher.
Yes.
That is something we can do.
That is something we can do.
Sighting straight up. And going up.
It's possible it's not actually a toad. It's possible it's one of those devolved presences who just looks like a toad.
Aye, that's true.
I don't think that's really a toad.
No.
I think it's a devolved presence.
Yes.
Like a Charlie who
like
turned
a Charlie.
into a toad.
That's what it looks like.
It does. It looks like a Charlie toad.
You can kind of see his face
I
in
can
the
see
toad
him.
face.
I can see him. I'm sorry for him, but he's the one who's chosen to become that.
That's true.
By not helping.
That's true.
I see it. Like he says, quote, "This is my planet," unquote, but he does nothing to help.
No.
And we're going to hell in a handbasket.
That's true.
I think that toad is Charlie.
I also.
Here we go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
And when I start to burn the pillar, intending to burn all the toads, there are lots of toads.
Lots of toads.
Lots of toads that burn really fast. And there's a lot of clearing in the head. Burn all the toads. And use that burn to power the dead children in the race for heaven. Sight up for whatever the highest blockage is now.
Much higher now.
Much higher now. And blast up through it.
There, I feel like there's airflow out into deep space now.
That's true.
Okay, now we can get those kids up there.
That's true.
Alright. That would imply that Charlie himself is the biggest blockage.
That's actually true.
To evacuating dead children from the deeper, denser dimensions.
That's
who
true.
really want to get to heaven.
That's true.
That's...
Which is ironic.
I'm going to have to work on that one for a while.
Me too.